Hi everyone, it's Nosy here again. Welcome back to Living Authentically, a place where we talk about how to be authentic, how to be truly you in life, in love, and work, and everything else in between. So last video, I talked about confrontation. So how to confront yourself and how to confront other people. And in this video, I'm going to talk about vulnerability, being vulnerable, which in my experience, I'm sure a lot of you would agree, feels or can feel a lot more scarier than actually confronting people. Because when you're being vulnerable, you are basically exposing yourself, like you are being honest about your feelings, your pain, your dreams, your hopes, your fears, everything. You're basically laying your heart out on the line in front of somebody, and really hoping that they don't misuse that, or they don't break your heart. Like it can be very scary, um, and it can feel really heartbreaking, when somebody misuses that information that you've given them against you. When they use that information against you, it can be very heartbreaking, and it can even encourage you to close back up and keep your guard up, because sometimes that pain can be really, depending on who you share all this information with, it can be really heartbreaking when you find that this person is actually using this information that you've given them about yourself against you. Um, but on the other hand, it can feel really nice when you have that space with someone, whoever it may be, a best friend, a partner, whoever it may be. It can feel really nice to know that I can trust this person with everything. I can talk to this person about everything, or almost everything, and they will support me, and they will love me, and they will, encourage me, and be that shoulder to cry on no matter what, and vice versa as well. It feels really nice when you can have that space with somebody. So yeah, I've recently learned, or I've recently started to learn how to be more and more vulnerable. um yeah, for the longest time I was very closed up. Being vulnerable was very unheard of for me, because I just generally didn't trust anyone. But I've realized over the past few years how that I actually wanted to experience what it's like to be vulnerable, and I started to put myself out there, baby steps. Um, yeah, I started to put myself out there and be a little bit more vulnerable each time, with people that I feel I can trust. Um, but yeah, we can't always predict or control how people um, respond to you. I can't always predict how they will use that information, which is unfortunate. But on the other hand, I know that that is a big risk, being heartbroken, but I've also learned it can actually be the best feeling in the world to be loved and supported, no matter what. Yeah, so being vulnerable with other people is something that I've started to learn, or started to try to do over the past few years, and it does take time. But I also, as I've said before, no matter what I try to do, no matter the goals I have for my life, as I try to live more authentically, I start with myself. So as much as I enjoy trying to be vulnerable with other people, I also have learned how to be vulnerable with myself. I did speak on this in previous videos, a little bit, but being vulnerable with myself, it just means, yeah, sitting with my feelings, sitting with my pain, sitting with, um, yeah, whatever pain it is, childhood pain, present pain, whatever, like fears of the futures, my hopes, sitting with my dreams, doing all that, sitting with myself, whatever comes up, fears, hopes, dreams, um, disappointments, happiness as well, sitting with my happiness, sitting with those good feelings that I also have, with myself. And um, respecting everything that comes up. So respecting the thoughts that I'm having, respecting the feelings that I'm having, even if it's sadness, even if it's happiness, sitting with that and respecting it. Basically treating myself how I would like somebody else to treat me if I was being vulnerable with them. Yeah, just respecting whatever comes up in the moment and not laughing at it, not dismissing it. Um, yeah, not doing that to myself, not laughing at my dreams or dismissing my pain or dismissing my happiness even. Um, just just simply respecting it and giving myself the support that I know I need. So that basically that's what I try to do when I'm vulnerable with myself. Um, and on the topic of dreams as well, I know that when you tell someone your dreams, it's a good feeling to have someone in your corner and support you and encourage you along the way. But we don't, not all of us have that. Not all of us have that person that will be excited for us, be excited with us, to encourage us when we need it. Um, so and even if you have that person, it's not always you know they, it's not always possible that they're always there 100% of the time. So sometimes when it comes to your dreams, when it comes to your hopes for the future, or fears for the future, it does um it does help to also just be um try to support yourself, encourage yourself, and to basically be the person in your corner to also do that for yourself. So even if that person is not always there, it is important still, I feel, to support yourself, encourage yourself, find ways to make yourself feel supported, as you are trying to make your dreams come true. Even when you're on this journey of being more authentic, there are some days where you feel like you're taking a step back, and there are days when you feel like you are moving forward, you're moving in the right direction. So it is nice then to encourage yourself, and to yeah to support yourself, and find whatever way possible to make yourself feel that way. So me personally, I wasn't for the past decade or so. I wouldn't consider myself a religious person or even a spiritual person. But recently I kind of reconnected with my spiritual side, and that I realized made me feel like I wasn't alone as I'm like uh, going forward, and respecting my dreams and trying to pursue my dreams. Um, so reconnecting with my spiritual side actually made me feel supported in a way. Um, and yes, of course, one day it would be nice to have somebody in my corner to have to be that support and encouragement. But I can't force that to happen. It happens when it will happen. But in the meantime, as I fight for my dreams, as I pursue my dreams, then I reach out to my spiritual side. I meditate, whatever it is, and that helps me to feel supported. So whatever it is for you that makes you feel supported, um, in anything, not just talking about your dreams, not just pursuing your dreams, but also being on this journey to be more authentic, or expressing your pain, or expressing your joy and your happiness. It is important that you try find ways to, or in my opinion, I think it is important to try find ways to feel like you are supported, to feel like you are not alone. Um, so I've been vulnerable with myself, like trying, to really, really sit and respect everything that comes up. Everything that I want to kind of look at and express. Um, yeah, starting with myself. But of course, as I said, the more I became vulnerable with myself, the more I wanted to actually become vulnerable with other people. And as I said earlier, it is a risk to be vulnerable with other people because you cannot predict, you cannot control how they're going to react. Um, and but then there's also that possibility of being vulnerable with someone that shows you that you can trust them, that you feel safe with them. That could be a really, really, really nice feeling. But I found that in the past few years, yes, I have been vulnerable with other people, and then later I find, that actually I shouldn't have been vulnerable with this person, um, because intentionally or unintentionally they use that information against me, which yes can be very, very heartbreaking. But I actually learned that as much as it hurts, I feel that if this person has used this information against me, then it says more about them than it does about me. Yeah, if they are if they are confronted with this, if you tell them, listen, you've I said this in confidence to you, and now you have misused it. Confronting this issue with them, and they kind of dismiss it or they don't think it's a big deal. I feel it says more about them than it does about you. So that kind of, yeah, that self talk, that kind of, um yeah, that has helped me to kind of get over that hurt of being vulnerable and being let down. But it also has taught me that you can't be vulnerable with everyone. You need to be very, very careful who you're vulnerable with, who you basically expose yourself to. Even though you cannot always predict and control how they're going to react, it is important to kind of gauge who who is who who can you trust, who seems more trustworthy, who seems like they are um, the type of people who respect confidence and that safe space. Um, if you were to be vulnerable with them. Yeah, so that's what has been helping me to keep going on this journey of being vulnerable so that I can live this more authentic life. That is what helped me to keep going so that when um, I'm hurt by someone who uses this information against me, I don't immediately close back up and say, oh, there's no point anymore. Um, so yeah, as I said, when that does happen, when somebody does let you down or breaks your trust, um, yeah, and you confront that issue with them, and it just is not resolved, it doesn't get any better, then just say, it says a lot more about them than it does about you. And remember, being vulnerable is a strength. A lot of people may see it as a weakness, but I personally see it as a strength because it is so hard to be vulnerable with people. So if you're able to do that, if you're able to keep doing that, and hoping for the best and getting through it when things don't go your way, then I feel it is a big strength. But it is of course important to be very careful who you open yourself up to. You don't open yourself up to somebody right away. You kind of gauge to see if they are that safe space. And if you find out that they're not, if you find out that they're just not the type of person you should be vulnerable with, then I have learned to keep a safe distance. Um, I don't turn that person into a villain. What's the word I'm looking for? Villainize. Yeah, I'm not sure if that's a proper if that's a proper word, but I don't suddenly say, oh, they're evil, they're bad, I should stay away from them. Because putting that label on doesn't help me on this journey. So I kind of just keep a safe distance, and it doesn't mean I stay away from them completely or completely avoid them, because sometimes that's not always possible. um, but I'm just careful about what I say around them. I remind myself that okay, this person, I cannot be very vulnerable with them. Yes, we can have nice light conversations, but nothing too deep. I won't say anything that's like that I'm scared will be used against me. Um, yeah, if I'm making sense. So yeah, that's how I see vulnerability, and that's my journey of being vulnerable as I try to be more authentic, as I try to break down those walls that keep people, the people that I want away, breaking down those walls and trying to be more vulnerable. But of course, as I said, it always starts with me as well, being vulnerable with myself, finding ways to make myself feel loved and supported, even if there's nobody around, even if sometimes the journey feels lonely, I will still find ways to be um, to feel supported and loved and cared for, um, as I'm sitting with myself and being vulnerable with myself. So I would like to hear from you guys in the comment section. What does vulnerability look and feel like for you? And yeah, and what have you learned, if anything, as you try to be more vulnerable with people? So you can put that in the comment section, and then I've also dropped my email address in the description box, so you can send suggestions of what you think I should cover, and if you feel comfortable, you can also share personal journeys with me so that I can share it here on this channel. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you next time. Oh, and remember, before I forget, remember that being authentic is a journey. Living authentically is a journey. It's a process. It's not a goal. So it is important to be patient and compassionate with yourself. Yeah, because it's not a goal where you cross the finish line. It's a learning process. Yeah. So I will see you next time. Bye.